Do all cyborgs created by Amato have limiters that allow them to unlock their full potential? This is both a question and a mystery. Could it be that the overpowering abilities of Damon, Ida, and Kashin Koji aren't even at their maximum yet? Do they still have the potential to surprise us, just like Code and Kawaki if they have limiters too? Oh yeah, today is my day. There is one thing that caught my attention after our discussion yesterday about Kawaki's limiter that Amato has not completely removed. Kawaki currently still has hidden powers that cannot be removed, all because Amato does not want Kawaki to die. An adjustment of strength so that Kawaki has defense and regeneration at the maximum level. And speaking of limiters, Code is one of the cyborgs from Amato's creation that has released his limiter. But is it maxed out, or even Code still has hidden powers? Literally, Kashin Koji once said through Jippo's ability, if in the future Code has overwhelming power, that of course Kawaki has absolutely no chance of winning against Code. And that means even though Code has currently released his limiter, that means in the future he still has another chance to awaken his maximum power, right? Literally, if Kawaki forced Amato to release the limiter, then Amato would have told Kawaki that there would be a risk to Kawaki when the limiter was released. Because basically, every great power that is released, there will definitely be a side effect, or it can also be said that another sacrifice must be lost. And still talking about limiters, a capability or mechanism that allows cyborgs to have insanely overpowered abilities. Every great power always comes with risks. There's no such thing as immense power without consequences. Perhaps as an example is Naruto's Baryon mode. This mode can be used to defeat Ishiki. Although it does not completely defeat Ishiki, the power of Baryon mode is quite effective in pushing the limits of Ishiki's life until he is truly dying. But unfortunately, the great power of the mode also makes Kurama disappear from the life of planet Earth. And most likely this kind of risk should also apply to the release of the limiter on every cyborg. But believe it or not, if the weakness that the Code limiter has is the claw mark. This mark can be used by others, and that is Jubi. The Code limiter that has been released in the end turns out to be controlled by the Jubi itself, and this is a weakness possessed by the Code limiter, because supposedly the claw mark of the Code's ability can fully control a Jubi shard. But the situation is reversed, and makes the Jubi shards that we call Divine Tree People have instincts and defect from the Code as the one who created them. But the point here is about the limiter and some cyborgs, and also the risk if their limiter is released. Now the question here is, why did Amato give Kawaki a limiter? Besides Kawaki having maximum regeneration, is there another reason? So here's the theory and analysis. But remember, I won't force you to believe or not in the analysis, and don't ever think that the theory is to tell a story that is certain to happen in the next story. Literally, every time a new fact about Amato is revealed, we immediately think that his schemes or hidden plans are starting to come to light. But every time we discuss Amato's revealed plans, Masashi always manages to make us believe again that Amato is good and not evil. For example, we find out that Amato secretly re-implanted karma in Kawaki without his knowing. Right away, we assume that Amato is evil for sacrificing Kawaki to become an Otsutsuki. But then in the next chapter, we're given a reason. Amato implanted karma in Kawaki without his knowing because he wanted to revive his daughter. And because of that, we start thinking again that Amato is good and not evil. And now we're going to think outside the box. We might think that Amato placed a limiter on Kawaki because he knows Kawaki's body isn't yet capable of fully controlling Ishiki's power. In other words, there's a significant risk that Kawaki will have to bear. Boruto has already said that Amato made adjustments to Kawaki's attack capabilities by fitting the limiter. The goal is to increase Kawaki's defense and regeneration capabilities beyond the limit. Literally, people would comment that Amato did this to keep Kawaki alive, even though he was defeated by Code. Since Kawaki is weaker than Code, Amato will probably make an offer to Kawaki to strengthen his body. But there are conditions that Kawaki must do so that Amato will increase his strength. But what if Amato actually has another plan that has not been revealed so far? Because then, Amato will definitely find another reason why he gave Kawaki's body a limiter. Maybe Amato will reason that if Kawaki's limiter is removed, then Kawaki will be weaker in terms of defense and regeneration abilities. We should all remember that Ishiki's power is immense. Even Jigen's body can be damaged by trying to contain that power. Perhaps even though Kawaki was a more perfect vessel than Jigen, Kawaki's body still lacked the capacity to contain that immense power. Because Kawaki's body was not fully prepared, Amado chose to create a limiter on Kawaki's attacks so that Kawaki would still survive even if he found an opponent much stronger than him. Then, if we think back to what Boruto said to Kawaki, it seems like it was the last way Boruto could use to defend against Jubi and the other Otsutsuki. Because after Boruto failed to save Sasuke, he must have known what would happen next. And maybe in the future, Boruto has no chance of winning from Jubi. Kashin Koji tells Boruto that he has a chance to win from Jubi if he can get Kawaki to work with him. And of course, Kawaki must upgrade himself to be able to defend against Jubi. But what Kashin Koji sees should come with risks. What risk would Koji see? Did he see that Kawaki would destroy the shinobi era if Boruto told him how to become stronger? Or Kawaki will do whatever he wants if he has great power? What do you think? And speaking of limiter, we're going to talk about the limiter that was put on Ida and Damon. To be honest, we would have never suspected that Amado could have put limiter on Ida and Damon. But what if the reason why Ida couldn't see the past before she was born was because Amado had placed a limiter on Ida's Senrigan eye? This is something that is very possible if Amado placed a limiter on Ida and Damon. He could have done this to make the cooperation between him and Jigen unknown to Ida. In order to become the most unpredictable villain in the future, it is very important for Amado to do this. If Ida has a limiter, then what if what happened to Ida and Kawaki was also Amado's scenario? It's certainly going nowhere, as this theory seems to be going. In essence, we are simply thinking about the possibility that Amado could have given a limiter to each of his cyborgs. And maybe it could have happened to Ada and Damon and even Kashin Koji. And in the end, are you thinking about the same thing as me about the limiter, which of course will be revealed if Damon, Ada, and even Kashin Koji have it? And about Kawaki, if Amado removes the limiter, which would surely grant Ishiki's vessel immense power, would Kawaki's body be able to handle the burden of that strength? Sooner or later, all of this will be revealed. So what do you think? What's the worst that could happen? So, thanks to all who have supported this channel with likes and subs. I'm Nim. See you in the next episode. Bye bye, Databayo.